Well, Jerry, tell me a little bit about growing up, your background. What got you interested in this? Was there something? So, first of all, let's just talk about your background. Where did you grow up? How many family members, brothers, sisters, stuff like
Well,
that?
I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm gonna rejigger it.
Okay.
So the CIA, it is the collector of last resort. So collector of intelligence, or it collects intelligence and it also does covert action. We can talk about that a little bit too. It'll do things the United States government wants done that are deniable, right? It's called Title 50. We can deny what we've done, right? Unlike the military, which can't. So we get the most intractable problems that the US government has. Now, if the US government can figure out if it can get what it needs on, say, North Korean nukes or Iranian missiles, right? Or what's going on inside of ISIS or Al Qaeda as they're looking to attack. If they can get that through diplomats, but they can't, right? Because they'll talk to diplomats. If they can get that through the military, they can't. If they can get that through law enforcement, they'll use those channels. But when everything else fails and no one else can do it, and no one else knows how to address a problem, it comes to CIA. So that's liberating. Like, no one knows how to do this. You got to go figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And do we know how to do it? No. We try to figure it out as well, right? And it's like, fuck, I don't know how to do this. Well, our job is to figure shit out. So who does that kind of stuff? We look for people who are comfortable with ambiguity. We look for people who can problem solve under interesting, difficult, bizarre situations, right? And people who can think quickly on their feet. So we don't look for that one. So we don't. So we look, the diversity inside the United States is a real treasure trove for us, right? If you need an American who speaks Farsi and can pass for an Iranian, but also has a business degree and speaks Spanish, you know what? The American government, we can probably find that guy. And those are the sort of people we want, interesting people that can do that. And we say we're looking for PhDs who can win a bar fight, right? Or avoid a bar fight, would even be better. So those are the folks we look for, people who can do jobs that no one else knows how to do. And that means that we have a real wide group of people that do it. So for me, my personal journey dates me, but I'm an ex-hippie, right? So I'm one of 10 kids from a small town in upstate New York. We had one street right where I grew up, right? And we filled the entire pew at St. Leo's Church. And at 18, just barely 18, never been on an airplane, never seen the ocean. I got in an airplane and I flew to Germany. There's a lot of reasons why. Basically, I met a girl, right? And off I go. And I basically lived as a German for years. I learned to speak German. I worked in beer gardens. I worked on ski lifts. I studied at German university. My German got good enough. I matriculated into German university, going to school for free. And I thought, I'm not sure I really want to be a German, right? I've lived here for years and German is my first language. And for interesting reasons, with a buddy of mine, we decided to smuggle cars into Iran, which we did, and which we went to jail for a little bit. And the Iranians, this is just before the Shah fell, and things are going bad, and we smuggled with some BMWs into Iran, and then we went to Afghanistan, where I loved it. And to be frank, I smoked a lot of dope up in the mountains and hit a Belgian girlfriend, and never thinking that 25 years later, that hanging around in the Hindu Kush in Afghanistan smoking dope was going to translate into me going back balding with 3 kids, married, on horseback, looking for a 6'5" Saudi guy. Because, going back to what we were saying before, the agency's like, well, we need someone who knows how to, we need someone who knows how to, like, navigate up in the mountains of the Hindu Kush. Oh, Jerry did, back when he was a hippie. And I was in India as a hippie. I was a disciple at the Sikh Golden Temple. The agency said, hey, we want you to go back to India to work there undercover. And I lived in Israel, worked on a kibbutz. I lived in Mexico. I hitchhiked through Africa. The agency sent me back to Africa. So I went to all these things, and I finally went back to grad school in the States. And I got a letter in the mail, and it was from the agency. And they basically said, no joke, we want to talk to you. And I think it was a professor narked on me. And I went in and talked to him. I said, there's no way they're going to like hire me. I was smoking dope in the Hindu Kush and living on a kibbutz in India and hippie. And they're like, no, we're looking for people who can like live abroad, people who understand foreign cultures, people who are willing to take risks with their life, people who are intellectually curious. And so I'm like, sure, I'm in. Now I want to throw in one more thing into that is while I was doing that, I matured as a human being. I think I matured politically and intellectually. And it was less the sort of the romanticism. I saw some really awful things abroad. I saw people starving in India. I'd gone to East Germany and then Czechoslovakia, which was under Stalinist regimes, and I developed a real visceral loathing of authoritarian regimes, of a leader telling people what to do, whether that leader was like Brezhnev or Erich Honecker in East Germany, dictators. I saw in India where they were trying to embrace the Soviet economic model and it was causing death and destruction. I saw corruption in authoritarian regimes in Africa. And I'm like, this sucks. And what we've got in the United States is something worth defending. And in Europe too, it was representative democracy is something I believe very strongly in. And I believe very strongly in the American dream, the myth, right? My grandparents were illiterate immigrants. My grandfather was an illiterate, illegal immigrant from Ireland, jumped ship. And so this country gave me everything. And I believe in that, the American mythos and representative democracy. And I got to tell you, when I put my hand up, my right hand up, and I swore an oath to defend the ideals and the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, I had like goose pimples running up. I've never sworn an oath before. And even when you retire, it doesn't end. So I believe that very strongly. And so, yeah, I'm a believer. I had great connection to and, yeah, love for the agency's mission and also what I saw of our brethren agencies in DEA, in the FBI, and especially in the American military, guys who were willing to risk their lives. And I'll also say that I have a master's degree in international business management, and I could have gone out and made triple the money I made. And instead, I volunteered later I volunteered to risk my wife becoming a widow and my three kids becoming half orphans by going off and going after bin Laden and living in under very difficult circumstances in places like Iraq, Anbar province, and in Afghanistan, up in Kunar province, and Nuristan, because I really believed in what I was doing.